Hello, my name is Michael Angelo Caruso. I'm here with two very impressive women. I'm here with Sylvia Whitlock. She is, ladies and gentlemen, the first female Rotary Club president in the history of the organization. And by the way, she also happens to be black. We're also sitting with Jennifer Jones, who is Rotary Director for 2015-17. There are only 16 Rotary directors in the world, so these are very, very important and influential ladies. Sylvia, we had the pleasure of hearing you speak this morning. You're a fantastic speaker.
Well, I've had a lot of practice. 28 years of practice.
And it comes,
although that speech is new.
And it's from academia, yes? You're a professional? Yeah.
I have to talk to a lot of kids.
Yeah. What do you find is a commonality between teaching and speaking? Is it basically the same exercise?
No, because I can remember the first time I spoke to a group of children at elementary school, and I shook from my toes all the way up. But it's kind of getting comfortable with them, getting to know them. I feel like I know Rotarians now, and I can talk about things they're interested in.
Fabulous.
So it's getting comfortable from the inside. It's also learning how to deep breathe.
You talked a little bit about diversity, not only in the Rotary organization, but also in life. You have been a pioneer for Rotary based on gender and ethnicity. Tell us a little bit about your takeaways from what you learned when you were taking on this challenge way back in the day.
You know, I had an interesting experience I didn't mention this morning. I was on a train in Calgary going to the convention, and across from me was sitting a couple who had been in Japan, who had been someplace where they had taken a vote on whether women should be in Rotary. I think it was Japan. And the gentleman said, you know, I always thought women should have been in Rotary. I voted yes. And his wife said, I didn't think so then, and I don't think so now. And I said, why? And she said, because, you know, men are going to Rotary meetings at all hours of the day and night, and who knows who's there? And I thought, well, you know, it's a service club. It's not a social club. She wasn't about to be persuaded. So that's an interesting take, that women objected to women going into the clubs.
Well, at the time, we were all getting used to the concept, yeah.
I think men liked it better, though.
Yeah. I've always often wondered why, you mentioned a statistic this morning, I think you said 28% of U.S. Rotarians are female?
About 38. About
38, thank you very much. And I always thought the percentage, being that women are nurturing people, and Rotary is a nurturing organization, I was always surprised myself that we didn't see more female Rotarians.
Well, I think Rotary probably thinks women ought to be at home nurturing.
At home nurturing, not in the community. Yeah. Jennifer, you made a very interesting comment today. You said that that as a director of our great organization, that Sylvia, in a way, has paved your path. That you might not, in fact, be involved in a director standing, if not for Sylvia's involvement.
I couldn't help but reflect as I was sitting listening to all of the comments this morning on the fact that I was sitting in that seat because of this woman. And I wouldn't have been a Rotary Club president, I wouldn't have been a district governor, and I wouldn't be coming onto our international board. And that is truly, and I mean that sincerely, it is because of what you paved. And I said to her this morning that I think she's the Rosa Parks of Rotary, and you know, she's broken a lot of ground for us. And I don't think that's about, I mean, we can talk about diversity on so many different levels, but whether it's about black or women or whatever, you did it because we had service in our heart, and you did it. You broke ground for us for the right reasons. And
but you know, the person really who should get that credit is Dick Key. No one becomes a Rotarian unless you're invited.
Good point.
And the person who invited women, Dick Key, who was the superintendent of schools, is the person who should really get that credit. I just happened to be there, and what I have done, you know, since I've become a Rotarian, is to try to represent Rotary with integrity. Mm-hmm. But I really didn't break the ground. He did.
That's an interesting observation. I know that Rotary takes a lot of heat for having to have a lawsuit put in place in order to allow women, and yet Rotary came around. Granted, there were a lot of societal pressures at the time, and I think a lot of the service organizations went through the same heat. But we're all becoming a better society as a result of it, and I find it's interesting. We can look back easily, and we call it being a Monday morning quarterback. After the game's over, it's easy to say what should have happened. But how can we learn from what happened, Sylvia, for the next 20 years? How can we put something in place that puts us even further ahead based on these lessons?
You know, old habits die hard. And it was a habit not to see women in Rotary meetings or to ask women to be Rotarians.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of, I think, testing whether women really would rise up to the level where men thought they were,
Yes.
or they should be. And I think if we just remember, just what I said today, if we don't prejudge, if we don't jump to conclusions based on little evidence, but we begin to be open and accepting about a lot of people and a lot of things, that we'll do better off. Like the new generations people do.
Sure.
Really, they're trusting.
Sure.
You know, they go out on a limb, they get on Facebook and say all kinds of stuff.
Jennifer, you're
People
planning.
respond.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so interesting to see both of you sitting together. Jennifer, you're planning the future of Rotary, using this trail that Sylvia has blazed for us. How do you interpret the lessons here, and how can we help you put things in place at the top of Rotary that would allow us to increase that number of 38% female Rotarians in the U.S.?
You know, it's interesting. I get asked, and have been asked for years and years, why we don't have a female president of Rotary International, why that's never happened, why we don't have more women on the board. And the reality is that we needed to put in the time. And I don't think any one of us would have appreciated having a token person assigned to that role. Women had to become club presidents in order to become district governors, and we had to become district governors in order to go on to the board. And we're finally at a point in time in our organization's history that women have earned the right to be at the table, not because they're women, but because they're Rotarians who are capable. And I think that's a huge victory for us at this point in time.
What a lovely pair you are. I'm so glad to be here and capture a little bit of this information so that we can have other Rotarians learn from it. Sylvia Whitlock, congratulations on all of your successes. And Jennifer Jones, thank you for working with people like Sylvia to make Rotary the best service organization in the world.
It
Amen.
is. Thank you.
More information about Rotary at rotary.org.